I want to also go to the prophetic word when it is spoken. When a prophetic word is spoken, or a word is spoken by the Spirit of God through you, that's what a prophetic word is. It's not something you say, it's something the Spirit of God says through you. That's why the Bible says that holy men spoke, all right, not according to their will, but as they were moved by the Spirit. So when the Spirit of God speaks through you, it is the most powerful thing, all right, on this earth. And this is where, all right, the church should be. And I believe that that's where there's a kind of attack on the prophetic now because of the nature. This is kingdom power. All right, so Satan wants to mess the entire, all right, thing up so that everybody just moves away, all right, from the prophetic and this. But look at the power that is contained in a prophetic word. Let's just examine the power that is in it. 1 Kings chapter 22 and verse 4. That's when the Spirit speaks through you. Now, King Ahab was the king of Israel. Jehoshaphat was the king of Judah. And Ahab had decided to go to war, all right, to battle at Ramoth Gilead. We'll see this. So he went to meet Jehoshaphat to help him. So he said unto Jehoshaphat, will thou go with me to battle at Ramoth Gilead? And Jehoshaphat said unto the king of Israel, I am as thou art, my people are thy people, my horses are your horses. Let's go. And then Jehoshaphat now turned and looked at him and said to him, have you inquired of the Lord? And have you got a word concerning this thing that you want to do? Now, note it was Jehoshaphat that said, look, this thing, all right, as far as Ahab was concerned, now we've got to, let's go and fight. Right? Jehoshaphat said, look, have you inquired, I pray thee, at the word of the Lord today? And then in verse 6, the king of Israel, all right, gathered prophets together. And he got about 400 of these prophets. And then asked them, shall I go against Ramoth Gilead to battle, or shall I forbear? That's not go. And they said, go up, for the Lord will deliver it into your hand, the hand of the king. And then Jehoshaphat, he didn't sit right with him. He said, this thing they are saying is not gelling. He said, is there not another prophet? This 400 people. All right. He had no peace. Is there not another prophet besides that we may inquire of him? Is there no other person? The king of Israel said, Jehoshaphat, there is one man, Micah, the son of Imlah, by whom we may inquire of the Lord, but I hate him. He said, and you see why he hated the man. I hate him. For he doth not prophesy good concerning me, but evil. That's when I start a business, and I go and meet him and say, the Lord, others will say, go. You'll break forth on the left and on the right. But he will say otherwise. And Jehoshaphat said, let the king not say so. Let's hear from Micah. So the king called the officer and said, hasten, all right, and go and get the son of Imlah. Now, because of time, let's get to verse 17. You'll hear what the prophet Micah said there. So when they called him, he said, I saw Israel scattered upon the hills, as sheep have not a shepherd. And the Lord said, these have no master. Let them return every man to his house in peace. Then the king of Israel said to Jehoshaphat, did I not tell thee that he will not prophesy good concerning me, but evil? Verse 19. And he said, hear therefore the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord, he continued the prophetic word, sitting on the throne, and all the hosts of heaven standing by him on the right hand and on the left hand. And the Lord said, who shall persuade Ahab that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one said on this manner, another said on that manner. And there came forth a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will persuade him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? And he said, I will go forth, and I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. And he said, thou shalt persuade him and prevail also. Go forth and do so. Now therefore, behold, so Micah told the king, the Lord had put a lying spirit in the mouth of all these thy prophets, and the Lord had spoken evil concerning thee. But Zedekiah, a senior prophet, the son of Chenaniah, went near and slapped Micah on his cheek. Who are you? In this prophetic thing, small boy. Which way went the Spirit of the Lord for me to speak to thee? How can God leave me? The Spirit will leave me. It's, you this small boy that are now speaking. All right? So he told him, behold, thou shalt see in that day, when thou shalt go into the inner chamber to hide yourself. Which means, this thing you are saying, when the war breaks out, you will be under your bed, you this prophet here, hiding away from it. And then the king of Israel said, take Micah and carry him back to Ammon, to the governor of the city, and to Joash, the king's son. Verse 27. And say, thus said the king, put this fellow in the prison. Feed him with the bread of affliction and water of affliction until I come in peace. And Micah said, if thou return in peace, the Lord had not spoken by me. And he said, hearken, O people, to everybody here. If this man returns in peace, God has not spoken. Every one of you here. Verse 29. And the king of Israel and Jehoshaphat the king of Judah went up to Ramoth Gilead. But Ahab was a deceptive man. All right? And may you never have somebody as Ahab as your ally. Because Ahab knew that this prophet in him was correct. Look at what he now did. Ahab, the king of Israel, said to Jehoshaphat, I will disguise myself and enter into the battle, but you put on thy robes. In other words, you dress like a king, I will dress like a commoner. They knew what he was doing. All right? So that when they attack, it's the king they will go for. And the king of Israel disguised himself, but I want you to see the prophetic word, and went into battle. Verse 31. But the king of Syria that they were coming against commanded his 32 captains that rule over his chariot, saying, fight neither with small nor great. That is, don't touch ordinary people. Save only with the king of Israel. When you get there, just go for the king. Verse 32. And it came to pass, when the captains of the chariot saw Jehoshaphat, that's the king, they said, surely that's the king of Israel. They turned aside and went straight to him. Jehoshaphat cried out, yeah, look, I'm Jehoshaphat. Me, I'm not king of Israel. They said, okay, this is not the king. They will have killed him. Are you following what I'm saying? Jehoshaphat had no business in that battle after Micah spoke. He knew. He knew that for 400 prophets, he knew that those people were. So that's why he said, is there not another prophet? One came out and said it. Jehoshaphat knew he was right. He should have left. That's why when there's a red flag in anything, don't continue because of emotional reasons. That's why I tell people you should read the Old Testament. Because if you don't read the New Testament alone, don't be saying I'm right on God, you won't have sense. It's Old Testament that gives you sense. You won't. They will game you, they will play you. They enter into the office, they will play you. And you'll go and carry trouble that doesn't have anything to do with you. Then you'll be telling a story. And I knew, I was sensing something. If you sense something, you move aside. He would have been killed. What he actually did was he wanted to exchange his death. Now, but to show you the power that is in the prophetic word, that look, when a prophetic word is uttered, it cannot come back unfulfilled. Look at what happened. And it came to pass, when the chariot of God perceived that he was not the king, they turned back from pursuing him. Now, verse 34, put it in the Living Bible translation. All right, you have it. Just put the Living Bible translation. So because this, the study man drew. If you have the Living Bible. Now, however, someone shot an arrow at random. This wasn't deliberate. The guy just fired the arrow at what? Random. Bam! And the arrow went and struck Ahab between the joints of his armor. He didn't aim it at him, he just fired it. The arrow went, and where the joint of the armor was, the only place the arrow could go through, it went through it and struck him. And Joshua, take me out of battle, for I'm badly wounded. And he groaned to his chariot to river there. Listen, it was the prophetic word that was spoken that guided that arrow, caused that man to fire it at random, took the arrow, went through the place that it should go until that prophetic word was fulfilled. When a prophetic word is spoken, listen, that's why when Elisha came and said, by this time tomorrow, he said it. The person who says it does not participate in the fulfillment of it. But that word goes forth. and it rests upon humanity. 4 lepers that knew nothing about the prophetic word, didn't know anything, just sat down by themselves and said, look, common sense reasoning. Look, if we stay here, we're definitely going to die. If we go into that camp, they may have some food. They may give us, and they may not give us. We may die, we may not die, 50-50. What do you think? It's a no-brainer. Let's go. And as they decided to go, that's all the movement God needed for the fulfillment of it. A prophetic word.